What's up? What's up, people? Post that. Nice. Nice. Indeed. Sick. I'm gonna be wearing my headphones this time because I have glasses on. This is what I meant when I said I'm gonna be doing things a little bit differently this stream. Is it just me test driving it? Shit, I really needed these. Okay. Well, doesn't help that that's the area of the screen where all the dead pixels are, but either way, I figured for one stream, it would be good to test drive these glasses because yesterday we went out for lunch on Mother's Day and I busted these out because I was like, you know, I've noticed some of the points where I haven't been able to see as well whenever I go outside and walk around, whenever we're out and around and there's like signage that I read as I pass by, I've noticed like I haven't been able to see as well. So I was like, okay, I'll probably need to wear my glasses. But I thought that was like some abstract future point in time. Whereas like, okay, I don't really need them that badly. I can still see, I can still read. But then it started to get more and more annoying. And when I tried them on yesterday, I realized how badly I needed them. Because standing 6 feet back from my computer, I can't read shit. But with my glasses on, I can read stuff. And I also can tell depth with my glasses on where I can't really with them off. You know, when I'm looking outside, I can get a much more tangible sense of how far to the foreground or background relative to me certain objects are. Uh, but only when I'm wearing my glasses. If I don't have my glasses, things look like much more of a flat. You know how cameras do the forced perspective thing? It's a little bit like that, but I don't really get tricked into thinking that the things are the same size. It's just like, you know, I can kind of tell that one thing is behind the other thing, but it looks a lot more flat if that makes sense. You know? Oh shit, Rowan Atkinson? I know who that is. But anyways, I don't want to dwell on that too much though, because this is still going to be the same kind of stream either way. Uh, and you know, the title was not joking. There will be much tonal whiplash this stream. That's going to be for damn sure. Because a lot of the stuff, that I'm going to be talking about involves Gaza, Palestine, Rafah, the genocide going on there, and all that. But then there's also some other stuff that's just much more not that, I guess. I mean, to be fair, most of the stuff that I have is related to Palestine today. But there's one thing that could be funny. There's one thing that is definitely funny to me, at least. Let's see how Mr. Bean does. A little inaccuracy. He seems to have the blue line under his name. A real Mr. Bean individual would have the green line because Mr. Bean is British and Britain is in Europe and not America. This is the final lap, so we'll see what happens. Looks like poor old Mr. Bean's gonna get last place. Poor bastard. Oh. Preparing the race. Oh wow, we got a pretty bustling room here. I don't know why, but my voice is not great right now. I think I need to drink more water. How's my mic doing? It's doing okay. Just need to make sure I'm speaking loud and clear. Crystal Dungeon. Old school track. Right. I still don't know what the optimal way to do that shortcut is, but I'm pretty happy with how I took it there. Shotgun? Maybe? Okay, that works. Ah, almost. I know he wants to throw that at me. Like, I know. I know he wants to throw it. Yeah, he threw it. Okay. At least he did it there and not in a worse spot. Seems like Trevor knows how to do that better than I do. Wait, how did I get into fourth? Oh, somebody outlined me on the outside there. Okay. Looks like both of us got triple greens again. I'm just gonna chuck this. Okay. Probably gonna get fourth place here. Yeah. Looks like it. God, I did not drift that way. Okay. Seventh. Dang. What happened to everybody? Just a couple people disconnected, I guess. Okay, let me get started on all the politics that there are to talk about, because most of them are in similar vein. A couple of these I feel like don't have much apart from shock value, because there's stuff that we already knew for the most part was happening. Again, like I said, relating to Gaza, Rafah particularly, I have two posts from Quds News Network. That's, I believe it's Palestinian state news agency, insofar as Palestine really has a framework of statehood to even operate from, but, you know, Quds being the Palestinian name for the West Bank, I think. Anyways, one post from them refers to CNN. CNN has released leaked images of the Israeli torture camp Sde in the Negev desert, where Israel perpetrates grave crimes against Palestinian prisoners abducted from Gaza. Yeah. It is worth noting that Israel, Hamas has not been the only ones to take captives. Israel has been taking captives for a long time. Uh, and I imagine they've gotten some additional captives as a product of their limited excursions into, or excursions and incursions into the Gaza Strip. Um, you know, almost. Um, and it's not like anybody could realistically stop Israel from doing that because they have modern military equipment. It'd be extremely difficult to stop them. Oops. Didn't quite do that right. Need a box. What I need. Oh, jeez. Sorry. Okay, seems like it was lag, which is good. I really didn't want to hit them. No! How did I mess that up? Oh my god, I suck at this track on mirror mode. And I didn't get an item? It's over. It's so over. Alright. What was I gonna say? There were a couple of things that I was going to say about the torture camps. Number one is that Israel has been taking captives this whole time as well, to the extent that they've been going into the Gaza Strip on the ground as opposed to just bombing from a distance. Number two is that they've been taking captives since even before October 7th. They've taken captives in previous years and decades. They've been holding a lot of Palestinian prisoners for a very long time. Number three, it's very convenient that this torture camp, not just a prison, but allegedly they're doing terrible, terrible things in this camp, is in the Negev Desert, which is in the south of Israel. There's a little piece of Israel that extends down south and borders the Red Sea. There's just a tiny portion of it. Most of that is desert. That is the Negev Desert, so that's generally where this would be. Yeah. I guess CNN would have more details on this. Yeah, let's go to CNN World here. Strapped down, blindfolded, held in diapers, Israeli whistleblowers detail abuse of Palestinians in shadowy detention center. This would kind of be echoes of, if nothing else, the most direct equivalent in the modern day would be the U.S. Concentration camps at the southern border, where a lot of undocumented migrants are held without due process and things like that. God damn it. At a military base that now doubles as a detention center, in Israel's Negev Desert. Let's see. I don't know why my directional stick is not cooperating with me today, but it isn't. Oh. That guy came barreling through. Best item. No, I tried to use the green shell to block that. That would have been really clever. Well, what did that bomb? Keep talking about the Negev detention center in a minute. Ow. Hell. Son of a bitch. I'm driving so bad. I'm comfortable blaming the glasses for now, until things improve. Here we go. At a military base that now doubles as a detention center in Israel's Negev desert, an Israeli working at the facility snapped 2 photographs of a scene that he says continues to haunt him. Rows of men in gray tracksuits are seen sitting on paper-thin mattresses, ring-fenced by barbed wire. All appear blindfolded, their heads hanging heavy under the glare of floodlights. A putrid stench filled the air, and the room hummed with men's murmurs. The Israeli who was at the facility told CNN. Forbidden from speaking to each other, the detainees mumbled to themselves. Okay, so this is already magnitudes worse than anything in the United States. We were told they were not allowed to move. They should sit upright. They're not allowed to talk, not allowed to peek under their blindfold. Guards were instructed to scream, Uskot, shut up in Arabic, and told to pick people out that were problematic and punish them, the source added. So basically, if they didn't shut up, then they would abuse them. Okay, yeah, this map shows. CNN spoke to 3 Israeli whistleblowers who worked at the Teman desert camp, which holds Palestinians detained during Israel's invasion of Gaza. So this was just, these are just captives from this current iteration of the conflict. I was wrong when I said that, like, this could be captives from earlier phases of the conflict. It's just since October 7th that these people have been put in the camp here. Oh, he knew that blue shell was coming. He's teaming with somebody. Saving this mushroom. I don't know for what exactly, but something. That was a really good shortcut. Execution. I'm almost positive that way is faster. Those guys actually lost a significant amount of time to me when I was doing that. Third place? Third place. Not bad. All the whistleblowers spoke out at risk of legal repercussions and reprisals from groups supportive of Israel's hardline policies in Gaza. They paint a picture of a facility where doctors sometimes amputated prisoners' limbs due to injuries sustained from constant handcuffing. Jesus Christ. Of medical procedures sometimes performed by underqualified medics, earning it a reputation for being, quote, a paradise for interns, unquote. That's not good. And where the air is filled with the smell of neglected wounds left to rot. So this is beginning to seem reminiscent of the Nazi camps held Jews, Germany. According to the accounts, the facility, some 18 miles from the Gaza frontier, split in two parts. Enclosures where around 70 Palestinian detainees from Gaza are placed under extreme physical restraint, and a field hospital where wounded detainees are strapped to their beds wearing diapers and fed through straws. Okay, I feel like none of that is actually necessary, I would think. Just pick something up random. Like, the strapping people to their beds, the blindfolds, the diapers, the feeding them through straws, under some very extreme medical circumstances, those can sometimes be necessary. But I guarantee you, for the dozens upon dozens of people being held at this concentration camp, these practices are not necessary. And this is being done more for humiliation than anything. This is part of the dehumanization process that genocidal political entities go through when they're attempting to exterminate an entire group of people. You know, there's the 10 stages of genocide, and dehumanization is one of those stages. But understand that it's not a linear process. Like, you will see evidence of all of the stages in various parts of the genocide, especially at this late date. You know, the later you get into a genocide, the more stages you see occurring at the same time, leading up to and culminating in the most extreme and severe stage, which is just the wholesale slaughter of members of the group being genocided, you know. I would be surprised if this were the only camp like this in Israel. You know. Hello. Yeah. I hopped the wrong way. Damn. I was doing so well. I was driving better than basically everybody else. And then one mistake sent me down the drain. Huh. Alright, here we go. Here goes nothing. Okay. I was just talking about the concentration camp that was found in the Negev desert, and how there are almost certainly others like it if prisoners are being treated this horribly at this one place. Yeah, in fact, the whistleblower corroborates my statement here that this isn't, like, none of this is from medical necessity. The amputations, the feeding through straws, the blinding, the diapers. They are stripped. They stripped them down of anything that resembles human beings, said one whistleblower who worked as a medic at the facility's field hospital. Quote, the beatings were not done to gather intelligence. They were done out of revenge, unquote, said another whistleblower. It was punishment for what they, the Palestinians, did on October 7th, and punishment for behavior in the camp. Who would you like to vote for president? The guy who wants to meet a French president who's been dead for 40 years, the guy who loved Hannibal Lecter, the guy who has a brain worm eat out of his brain. The guy who said he wants to meet a French president who had been dead for 40 years. I believe he name dropped François Mitterrand, right? That's who he name dropped. And I would prefer that French president to the current French president. So, you know, he's a little confused, but he's got the spirit there. Ultimately, voting is not the primary... Voting is not the primary mode of political engagement that I'm concerned with right now. It's the bare minimum, so I'll do it. But there's, like, more that I'm planning to be doing and would rather be doing. About the guy with the brainworm? Not voting for that guy. Fuck that guy. You know, I mentioned in the I mentioned in the video I did about RFK Jr. Is that he's like... I mentioned that he was absolutely insane, but I couldn't have called it this hard. And also said that, like, because most of his views are fringe conspiracy theory stuff, that he is going to draw mostly from Trump's voter base rather than Joe Biden's voter base. And there's recent polling data that corroborates that. As much as I'm loath to believe polling data on anything, I have no reason to disbelieve this polling data that, like, yeah, most of the people that like RFK Jr. are right-wingers, because that fits with most of the other information I know about him thus far. Huh. Alright, I'm just getting all sorts of shells today. Second place? Cool. Just found dead, so poor guy probably died from starvation. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there wasn't enough brain to eat, so the worm starved to death. In fact, the Biden administration, this is proof that the protests have been working. The Biden administration lately has lifted all of one finger against Netanyahu and Israel lately. I think they said that they would, like, pause a weapons shipment or cancel a weapons shipment to Israel if they invaded Rafah, which Israel has done. They've kind of, like, been a little bit shiftless on how they define invading Rafah, but the message being, like, if you go any further into Rafah, we're not going to send you weapons anymore, which I don't know if they will follow through on. It seems like, according to the Israeli U.S. ambassador, or ambassadors, I don't remember if both of them commented on this, it seems like most of the relationship between Israel and the U.S. is unchanged, but the fact that the Biden administration is willing to say this at all means that there's a lot of pressure being felt from the protesters, and I think that's good. Because otherwise, if there was no pressure from the protests in the United States, in Europe, elsewhere, you know, if people were all sort of like defeatist and stayed at home, then there would be functionally no obstacles to Israel finishing the genocide that has been carrying out in the Gaza Strip. You know, like there wouldn't be anything to stop them. Cool glasses, I just noticed. Thank you. I am test driving them this stream, because while I ordinarily don't need them if I'm just at my computer, I've started to notice reading has become significantly more difficult, so probably going to need them a lot more going forward. God damn it. I've had these glasses for about a year and a half, 2 years, maybe. Oh, I bumped that guy pretty bad, I think. Yeah. Best item in the game. I would have gotten bulleted by that guy if it didn't run out exactly there. That time I did kind of mean to bump that guy. Don't know how good of a decision it was to spend that mushroom. Oh no! What the f... Ugh. Dude. Fourth, I think? You see Russia making breakthroughs, they're starting to win. Yeah, I think that was kind of, in retrospect, it seems like that was kind of inevitable for a while now. The U.S. has a new favorite toy, and that's Israel. The U.S., like, in all the worlds where October 7th happened, the U.S. was never going to help Ukraine until the end of this war, and the U.S. even attached conditions to the military aid in Ukraine that makes them lose the war by necessity, right? The aid that the U.S. has been providing to Ukraine up to now was always going to make them lose. Kharkiv is going to be so brutal. Yeah, it is. Unless the next aid package gets there in time, what Ukraine and the U.S. have decided is that like we need to do like a 10-year aid package so Ukraine can actually plan long term, because that's one of the biggest flaws of the U.S. aid packages, that they've been year by year, which means that basically the U.S. has said, okay, Ukraine, we'll give you aid, but we're only going to do it in a fashion that doesn't let you plan long term. So you're going to lose the long-term engagements. We're going to attach strings to it that say you're not allowed to attack Russian military targets in Russian territory. So you're only allowed to devastate your own lands even further, right? And we won't, like, basically we won't let you fight any of this war in Russia. We will only let you fight this war in Ukraine. So basically, we will only support you in this war if you eventually lose. Like, our support is contingent on you not winning, basically. Is the kind of problem that arose from that. Oh my god, that was devastating. Give me that, yeah. This is actually perfect. Give me this box. Yes. No. Ah. I thought I'd have enough. How did they do that? I don't know how they did that. Why did you do that, you fucking asshole? Jesus. Yes, the bullet takes a shortcut. This is perfect. Third. Okay. Go back to the CNN article about the concentration camp. Responding to CNN's request for comment on all the allegations made in the report, the Israeli military, the IDF, said in a statement, the IDF ensures proper conduct towards the detainees in custody. Any allegation of misconduct by IDF soldiers is examined and dealt with accordingly. Inappropriate cases, NPCID, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. It's a nothing statement. They basically said, like, yeah, we're not doing anything wrong here. The IDF notably did not directly deny accounts of people being stripped of their clothing or held in diapers. Instead, the Israeli military said the detainees are given back their clothing once the IDF has determined that they pose no security risk. This is a classic tactic by the IDF and other ideological defenders of the state of Israel, is that instead of denying something, like, outright, they'll say, yeah, we did it, but this is why it's good, actually. Because I guess the fascism in Israel is tinted towards settler colonialism and towards racism against Arabs, which is much more acceptable of a sentiment in the West. So it's like the fascism in Israel is a little bit more consolidated than the fascism in a lot of Western countries, because in a lot of Western countries, racism is seen as a bad thing, but all of a sudden in the Middle East it just becomes like, that's fine actually, because you're, I don't know, being racist against Arabs. It's like the whole tolerance from afar versus tolerance up close or whatever. Being in proximity to people in urban centers and whatever is more likely to lead you to not be racist towards them, just as a matter of statistics. So, you know, at that distance, it's much easier for people to put up with Israeli racism, and as a result, it's much easier for Israel to get away with that kind of racism. I feel like I might be the only person who really knows how to drive this track. Like, knows. Oh no, what the hell? I didn't get a trick off of that ramp? That's so stupid. That's a really good POW, whoever used that. Aha! I think I know where I want to use this golden. I didn't do that part right. Oh yeah, I know where I want to use it. Whoa, what's going on? Did they fall off? Oh, they fell off. Oh no! Ugh! I almost fell off in the tiniest little gap known to man. What are they even doing at that part? I don't get it. What the fuck? I hate this track. I hate it with a passion. This track sucks. Shouldn't even be in the pack. I'm serious. Like, I'm clowning on it, like, directly because I've obviously been getting fucked up. But, like, dude, nobody in their right mind would call this a good track from a design perspective. Alright. Next race. Why did everybody fucking leave? This is so annoying. Anyways. Let's see. Reports of abuse have already surfaced in Israeli and Arab media after an outcry from Israeli-Palestinian rights groups over conditions there. CNN has requested permission from the Israeli military to access the Sde base. Last month, a CNN team covered a small protest outside its main gate, staged by Israeli activists demanding the closure of the facility. Rare W for Israeli protesters. Israeli security forces questioned the team for around 30 minutes there, demanding to see the footage taken by CNN's photojournalists. Israel often subjects reporters, even foreign journalists, to military censorship on security issues. Yeah, because they're conducting a genocide, and they tend to get kind of touchy whenever there's going to be cameras on them. Like, imagine if there was like if there was a journalist with a camera at like Auschwitz. Fucking. Hey, the good thing is there can't be shocks. There can only be POWs in 4-player rooms, and I would be the one getting the POW, so I can just hold this, I think. It's fine. Lap 3 is going to be where all the difference is made. I don't know why my drift didn't come out there. My wheelie button is not quite working for me today. What the fuck? Oh yeah, I forgot red shells do that on this track. They do some silly stuff. Get outlined. What happened to him? You hit something? Yep, we're going this way. Blue shell. Now I have a mushroom in first. Well, second, first, whatever. Almost got bean cornered. There's a blue shell, I'm fucked, but I think I'm good. Yep. That track's not good either, but it's so old that I have like the most intimate knowledge of it out of like anybody probably. CNN whinging about law. I don't give a shit what the law says. I mean, international law kind of matters. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about law. CNN is actually, they mention a couple of times, they're like, this is against Israeli law. I don't fucking care. The national law has frequently been used and created to justify genocidal intent and practices. For example, in the United States and in the UK, and in some European countries, laws are being written, crafted, and edited for the sake of persecuting trans people as a class. In the UK and the US in particular, these are the most visible examples. The law is not a good barometer for ethics, except in the case of international law, because international law does not have the threat of force behind it. Paradoxically, the law that can be enforced is less good is less consistently good at like identifying what is or isn't morally like good, you know. International law is almost purely aspirational, and for that reason it is almost entirely agreeable. You know, it's full of the language of universal rights and universal like, well, stuff. And like what is or isn't humane, not for citizens but for persons, like people, you know. So when when outlets like that refer to the law, when CNN and other news outlets refer to the law as sort of a metric of why something is bad, understand that that's a misdirection. This is kind of how liberals become fascists as a product of like incidental association, because Law and Order is like a very easily fascist leaning talking point, right? Um, I think it should simply suffice to say that it's bad to hold people in like detention without trial or due process, and it's bad to humiliate them by stripping them down to their undies and blindfolding them and all that. That should suffice. No mention of law need apply. Like, is this illegal? Like, who the fuck cares, right? Fucking massive lead. And evil. In the game, not in real life. Cool. I'm leaving this room. This room's tiny. Nope. Not countdown. Versus. Yeah. The rest of the CNN article really details the treatment. And of course, there are examples of the law being used against Palestinian detainees where the Israeli Supreme Court is not very amicable to human rights causes, which is not surprising. Like I said, laws can be created, edited, crafted to aid whatever purpose the state needs them to, which in several cases can include genocide. The genocide in Germany was entirely legal under German law. The Holocaust was legal. The Armenian genocide was legal. And so too is this genocide. This genocide is entirely in accordance with Israeli law because law is ultimately only like whatever the people who make the law decide it is. Whatever the words on paper say, right? The law is what the people who enforce the law decide to enforce. The law is what people in the chambers of crafting laws decide to talk about, and the law is whatever the courts, I don't know, decide to emphasize. I guess I don't know. Um, you know, if there's a law on the books that nobody talks about in the legislature, that no police officer or military enforces in the country, and that no Supreme Court really takes seriously, that law doesn't even need to be struck down. It's not the law. Because, the law is based on the sort of it's based on the willingness to use force to enforce enforce, there you go, those laws. So like jaywalking might be illegal, walking across the street not at a crosswalk. Jaywalking might be illegal on paper, but it's not illegal when I do it and there's nobody around, there's no cop to see me, there's no judge to decide that like I need to go to traffic court or whatever, there's no legislature, there's no like lawman to observe me doing it, there's no cars coming, right? It's basically the whole if a tree falls in the woods and nobody is there to hear it, does it make a sound, right? Um but in this case, instead of it being a law that's actually relatively inconsequential, it's this sort of active decision to not enforce or to enforce laws that are consequential. Uh, you know, it's not against the law to protest in the United States, but functionally it is against the law to protest in the United States because if you protest, police will arrest you for it. The law is whatever the police decide to arrest you for, ultimately. And in that case, it's a relatively minor law because there's sort of a conflict between the executive and the judiciary. If they arrest you on some random bullshit like made up charge at a protest, the judge isn't gonna really take that seriously, so they'll let you go. But it's just enough to be a chilling effect. Anyways, I feel like I've gone too far into the weeds with that. That ultimately stems from a critique that I have where a lot of liberal journalistic outlets will focus too heavily on what is in accordance with the law and what isn't. Uh, and this is one of the failings of the liberal institutionalist worldview. And it's why, ironically, I would much rather defer to international law because while there is no method of enforcement there, that's sort of broadly recognized. And what there is a very also widely recognized aspiration that international law is broadly written on what we want to uphold, what we think is good, not what we think is like procedurally correct or anything like that. Anyway, CNN is cringe, but they did some good coverage there. That is the first thing from Gaza. That took forever. That's the first thing out of Gaza, which was the concentration camp in the Negev desert that is almost certainly not the only one of its kind. Now I want to talk a little bit about a video that surfaced on social media of Israeli settlers attacking a humanitarian aid truck. We've seen this before where Israelis will block aid from reaching the Gaza and the West Bank. where they will block trucks, but in this case, we see them actively destroying the humanitarian aid supplies there. Which again, that's one of the two big things that are consistent with a ongoing genocide. Is number one, the barring of media from certain areas that pertain to the genocide, such as the case with CNN in the concentration camp and in Gaza generally, which is an open air camp. And here it's also the case with refusing to allow humanitarian aid through to people who need it. From Quds News Network again, a mob of Israeli settlers attack Jordanian trucks carrying desperately needed humanitarian aid on the way to the besieged Gaza Strip, unloading and destroying bags of wheat flour. Which, of course, understand, like I mentioned with other ways of blocking this, this sort of humanitarian aid. This would be in Gaza already if it weren't for Israel blocking it and making these humanitarian aid trucks necessary. Israel blocks the, well, they drain water from the Gaza Strip and from Palestine so that people will have more incentive to clear out. This is part of a slow-burning genocide, where they are gradually trying to build the conditions of life that are unlivable for people there. But here we see an acceleration of that, where the slow deprivation of water is not enough. So they have to directly deprive people of food as they are being bombed and starved. And as Quds News Network mentions, this is in the midst of an Israeli blockade, which has been devastating to quotidian life in the Gaza Strip. Starvation being a big component of that. Flame Hunter is going to gain a lot of time on me on this straightaway here. But I'm going to gain time on him on the turns, which is good. Yo, what's up, dude? I got him. And one thing to notice about the Israeli settlers that have attacked this aid truck is that there are no police present. There are no members of the military present, or if they are out of frame and not doing anything to stop them. They're not being apprehended in any meaningful way. Meanwhile, at the protests that have been actually raging in Europe as well as the United States, police are everywhere. In fact, there was an article I wanted to look at, yeah, here, look, article. It's a shame 1v3 isn't here, because this is Dutch news. Translate this page. This is Echt Amsterdam's news. I hope I pronounced that right. Says live blog. There are Reutersland, Reutersland, seems calm and safe again after intervention by riot police is the headline there. That's pretty loaded headline, but the gist of it is there was a university campus protest in Amsterdam, and the police showed up. It was a pro-Palestine protest, as you do in this sort of day and age. And what ended up happening was that students, I believe, barricaded some buildings, set up tent encampments inside, the usual sort of pro-Palestine protesting guidebook, like the standard stuff. And the police showed up in riot gear, and I saw video of them. I saw a clip of this video earlier of them using their batons to beat the protesters. And in fact, it was kind of similar to the scenes that I saw in the United States, the protests here, you know. So, the police in Israel are perfectly content to let settlers destroy food aid that is desperately needed, otherwise Palestinians will starve to death. But meanwhile, there are police in Amsterdam and in many Western countries that will beat you up for so much as protesting against the actions of said settlers and the Israeli government. So, nice genocide bad moment and an ACAB moment all wrapped up into one. Really, really bringing the A game of leftist politics into this. Ah, I hit my own fake item. Silly me. And then he hit my fake item. Yo, what's up? After a full week of demonstrations at the buildings of the University of Amsterdam, there's another demonstration today at Reuterszeiland. Demonstrations are taking place for Palestine and against the actions of the UVA board. So again, there's protests against the university administrators. In the afternoon, the demonstration moved to the main building. Follow all today's developments in this live blog. Okay, so there's a live blog of events. Police are preparing to go through the buildings of the Reuterszeiland campus to see if there's still demonstrators. Officers are equipped with chainsaws, among other things. Pretty similar to what was going on in America. Seemed like the police recently cleared out some encampments inside of campus buildings. And I assume that's pretty characteristic of what's going on in what's starting to happen more frequently in Europe as well. The university protests, the encampments, and things like that. Oh no. Messed up. Wait, is this mirror mode? I have such a hard time telling whether something is mirror mode or 150. That was bad. Really bad. Missed the trick on the second one, but I actually got the trick there that time. Good. Oh, wow. Didn't know you could do that. Damn it, hitting my own bananas. Really not driving very well today. Let's make the third lap a better one. Okay, so far so good. Whoa, what? I'm dead. So much for making the third lap a lap for good driving. I'm back here? What? What in the... Oh, that's the route that, like, nobody takes because it's slow as hell. Goofy ass track, goofy ass race. Continuing, sure. Fuck it. Oh, some more people. Nice. Oh yeah, I should mention as well. The last thing related to Palestine, well, actually, second to last thing, because I still got to talk about Eurovision. I don't know if 1v3 is going to be here for that. Is the lawsuit, the ongoing suit at the International Court of Justice that was filed by South Africa, and where the ICJ found that Israel could be plausibly said to be committing genocide and thus had an obligation, which it has failed to uphold since then, in the words of the ICJ, to prevent a genocide in the Gaza Strip. This lawsuit is still like ongoing and stuff. It's being litigated, but there have been two countries, I think, that have now joined the lawsuit. One of which being a relatively major country. Previously, it was, I believe, just South Africa on this suit, but now Egypt and I think the Maldives have joined the suit with have joined the suit with South Africa. And you know, Egypt, I've obviously been critical of their conduct because they've been sort of part and parcel to some of this genocidal activity, like blocking the aid from reaching the Gaza Strip. But I think this is an unequivocally good thing that Egypt is doing in the face of what's going on in the Gaza Strip right now. Because Israel ultimately is the country to be held accountable. Israel and the United States for, you know, supporting Israel's actions and such. Oh, didn't get the trick there. Okay. Oh, what happened? He fell off? Huh. Looks like so far I know this track significantly better than all the other people here. Which I think is the mark of a bad track, that, like, I can be just this far ahead. Just for track knowledge alone, you know? Huh. That red shell was on my radar for like a half second. Okay. Good race. I cleaned up my driving relative to last race. Significantly better. Now let's take a look at Eurovision. This is where the Euro Bros are eating good today. Let's see. This is from the New York Times. It's from a couple of days ago. Eurovision 2024 highlights. Nemo from Switzerland wins song contest final. Nemo being, I believe they're non-binary, which is cool for them. The run-up to the final was rocky, with pro-Palestinian protests and the organizers banning one of the competition's frontrunners. Yeah, that's right. The Dutch representative was banned for, I believe, throwing hands with somebody. You know, that didn't end too well. But yeah, Switzerland won the competition. Apparently there's like a voting system where the public can vote, the viewing public can vote. And then there are the juries, like the judges on like a Eurovision panel. And like I said, the judges would have probably favored Israel, although Israel didn't even make it to the final. You know, so I think people were ultimately just glad that Israel didn't win Eurovision. It was quite shocking, actually, that they were even allowed to compete this year. But like I said, the reason that they were allowed to compete is because of like the alignment with Western countries. Same thing with like why Australia is allowed to compete, and then also because Israel is white, is a white, you know, majority white country, or at least the European conception of white. Did I do the thing? I'm gonna do the thing. Yeah. And I blocked the thing too, so unless somebody has like a star or something. What did they do this time? They went straight through, right? They took a turn here. Just went straight through like this. I don't know if that's any faster, but okay. I'm gonna try my way again. It's more dangerous, but it is faster. Pretty confident in that much. Kind of messed it up, but if you can get that trick and keep driving, then that's significantly faster than the other way, I believe. Okay. Get him, dude. You can do it, dude. I believe in you. No, he hit another item. Oh, come on. No. Oh, man. Rip. I believed for a minute. It looks like there's just not that many people online right now. I guess that concludes the Eurovision memes. Also, apparently, I was saying like I don't want to cast any undue hate on the singer from Israel when I talked about Eurovision last time. It seems like they deserve all the hate that they get, because they are evidently in favor of Israel's genocide in the region, and I think they made some pretty fucking racist comments about Palestinians or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, ultimately Eurovision not a thing that I usually care too much about. I'm not a music person. I'm also not European. You can tell by my accent. Um, but there are Euro bros in my audience, so and it's there's political stuff happening there, so it's relevant to the content of the stream. Fucked up. I'm okay. I'm making it my life's mission right now to not hurt dude any more than I like absolutely have to. So I'm not gonna throw this red shell unless I know it's not gonna hit him. Alright. I need dude to have a W. My man's in a room with three 9,000 plus VR players, and he's got like 4,000 VR. He needs the W. I'm probably just gonna chuck this back here. Just gonna try to pass him without too much fuss. This is a good item. Dang it, he really got stuck behind, huh? Blooper, that sucks. They're up there worrying about who's got a green shell. Meanwhile, I'm chilling here with a golden. They have no idea what's about to hit them. Nice. A lot of the races where I've done well have been decided by, like, top-tier item usage. Like, really smart item usage, that is. Or fuck it. 4 players, whatever. You know what? I'm actually, for the next bit, for the next bit that I was going to talk about, I want to actually wait for 1v3 to be here in chat, because I know that we both love reveling in some nice, good old-fashioned government collapses. It wouldn't feel right to do it without them. So instead, I will go to the one other thing, the like really, really not consequential thing that I had lined up, which is Dave Rubin. Okay. I don't know if I can even read this on stream. Maybe I can on Twitch. Majority Report highlights screenshotted a tweet here, and said, "Looks like the marketplace of ideas was closed today." There's a picture of some young women wearing these cute shirts that say "Fatties for Free Palestine," which I like. Nice embracement of the chubbiness. I appreciate it. But then, you know, somebody tweeted out like a pic of it, like saying some sort of weird comment, and then Dave Rubin quote tweeted that, saying, and I quote, "Hamas wouldn't even rape these cows." I'm not kidding. He said that. And this brought to mind two things that I wanted to highlight. One pertaining to the gay community, and the right wing of the gay community, and one pertaining to Dave Rubin specifically, because my man Dave Rubin is a despicable piece of human trash. So first, let's talk about the more broad ranging thing. Gay people, for whatever reason, like gay guys, fucking hate women. It's not a, like, obviously it's not an absolute thing. But there's a weird tendency that I've seen among gay men, and by that I mean homosexual men, not like bisexual, whatever. You know, where they just fucking hate women. It's like a it's like misogyny for whatever reason becomes a little bit more socially acceptable if it's not like, if you're not really about dominating women, like if you don't actually have any sort of sexual interest in women or something like that. For whatever reason, either for that or for the reason of like wanting to gain acceptance in a more conservative version of polite society, there are a lot of gay people who are very misogynistic and creepy, and you know, I felt the need just to mention that because it is a thing. Although obviously I don't want to overblow the importance of it. The second thing, the more important thing I wanted to mention is about Dave Rubin himself. Because you guys might know the "why I left the left" meme, but you might not know, because this might be like before some people in my audience were even born, Dave Rubin is the origin of that meme. Dave Rubin was the original "why I left the left" commentator back in the day. He used to work at the Young Turks. As a new newscaster commentator type, and he was, as the story goes, I believe he was offered quite a significant sum of money to start moving to the right very gradually, and so that's exactly what he did. He's been a pretty token, like, he's been the right wing's token gay guy for some time, for several years. You know, he used to call himself a classical liberal, but then that wasn't very popular anymore, so he dropped off. And now he's really dropped off. The reason that he's saying this is because it's so inflammatory. You know, obviously everybody loves to say inflammatory shit on Twitter, myself included. That's kind of the game of Twitter. But in Dave Rubin's case, he really has become irrelevant. The right hates gay people, like, a lot. And they didn't really want to play with Dave Rubin anymore. You know, like the whole new favorite toy kind of thing that I've talked about. For a while, Dave Rubin was like the right wing's favorite toy because they got to say, see, look, we're not homophobic, we have Dave Rubin. But now they're okay with just being like, yeah, the gays are degenerates. In fact, Dave Rubin has been on the receiving end of some of that from his right wing colleagues and cohorts. You know, but the, you know, posts like this from Dave Rubin reek of desperation, and I think that is a sign of the left kind of winning. Because think about what happens. This is actually a pattern that has happened to a lot of right-wing commentators that used to be on the left, or people who just were right-wing commentators, is that the machine makes and breaks these people. You think about left-wing personalities, there's no, like, huge moneyed network backing them up. They're popular on their own merits. You know, as much as you know, people might dislike them, it's not because of some sort of astroturfing that's going on. You know, and when they cease to be popular, it's because, I don't know, something about them changed, like their opinions changed and whatever. With right-wingers, it is a significantly different story. Dave Rubin gained popularity as a product of shifting to the right, but then once the shift was complete, nobody cared. You know, think about Tucker Carlson. Believe it or not, Tucker Carlson used to be a pretty mainstream liberal commentator on CNN in the 1990s. He used to not always be a neo-Nazi. Dave Rubin, Glenn Greenwald, Russell Brand even, all these people are basically irrelevant now, because even if they never really had any values, they used to be somewhat on the left or on the right side, the correct side of a lot of issues, and that's what gained them popularity. And what lost them popularity was just becoming another part of the right-wing machine. When they no longer had the machine to back them up, they just faded away into obscurity, and that was it. You know? Which leads to Dave Rubin going around on Twitter just posting rage bait all the time because that's all he has. Think about how fast Bill O'Reilly dropped off. For people who are American out there, you might know that Bill O'Reilly used to be like the #1 on Fox News. Think about how quickly he dropped off after Fox News dropped him. Think about how quickly Tucker Carlson dropped off as Fox News dropped him. You know, same thing happened to Dave Rubin once the right was just openly comfortable with being anti-gay as like an aesthetic. Same thing happened to Glenn Greenwald when people realize, oh, this guy just doesn't have anything interesting to say. He's just pro-Russia. Because a lot of right-wing people don't like Russia either. Taking that shortcut is a little bit better than getting an item there if you're in top spot, because, well, I missed that item set, but there's that item set pretty soon afterwards, and there's a lot of walls that can help you avoid a red shell. Pro tip if you're ever playing this track. If you really need an item, you might want to not go for that shortcut, but if you're in, like, anywhere above, like, 4th, in a large room, or if you're in 1st or 2nd in a smaller room, then just take the shortcut every time. Even if it means you don't get an item. This time I'll get an item. Gotta see what kind of items people have laid back here. Hidden banana. Ah, maybe somebody will hit that. Maybe. Let's hope I don't hit my own item here. There we go. That's a way better hidden banana. Cool. Yeah, okay. That was it. That's all I had. I don't know if I'll turn any of that into segments. Probably not. Because I got another segment on the back burner right now. I'm trying to find something more interesting that I have more gathered thoughts to talk about. Get a segment out of. Let's. Oh yeah, I did see also. I don't have a tab pulled up for this, but I did see also. The UN is starting to make a couple of moves on including Palestine more in the international community. Recently, the UN General Assembly voted overwhelmingly so. It was like 170 something to 9 to make Palestine a member state. Not with like the full delegation privileges or whatever, but more to give them more of a statehood presence than they have right now. The problem is, number one, it's not enough because the like Palestine should have full statehood. And number two, it's only the UN General Assembly. The UN General Assembly is toothless in so far as any enforcement or effectuation of decisions that it makes, or votes that it passes, it has to go to the UN Security Council, on which the US and Russia and China are all members, and that's going to get dicey at the best of times. I think at the UN Security Council, Palestinian statehood is kind of a non-starter because America has veto power, and although we've seen that there are some limits of America being able to exercise this power, they're still really willing to exercise it on behalf of Israel to continue the genocide in the Gaza Strip. You know, not driving super well, but seems like people are still falling behind anyway. I mean, this is a pretty difficult track. I'll be the first to say it. Oh, okay. By the way, did you guys know I have some experience TASing this track? Like this one specifically. When I was in high school, I used to do some very casual tool assists on Dolphin emulator. I was so casual. I didn't even use I didn't use like the frame by frame or keyboard inputs. What I did was I slowed the game down to get more precise inputs. I would frame advance to do the like rapid fire hop stuff, but I would just use the classic controller and a USB adapter. And this was one of the tracks that I tool assisted. Granted, it was with the Flame Runner, so turns would have been much wider than what I'm currently taking here. Two lap track. You know, I think this track feels a little bit old. It feels a little bit outdated. I know it's not actually that old. It's like 2017-ish. God, even so, that's like 7 years ago. I think the aesthetic could use an update. Everything looks a little bit samey as far as color. The blue is a little bit weird to look at, you know, if there's so much of it. And I guess the maybe the layout could use a little bit of an update as well. There are some turns that it's pretty hard to make. You know, there's some blind turns that come up way too quickly. But I think there's definitely potential for that track to be, like, renewed, I guess. Although, funnily enough, the, like, sort of slidey road blind turn is not one of the issues I have, because what they do there, they kind of know how blind that turn is, so they make the road extra super wide so you can comfortably swerve in time. What I'm more thinking of is probably the ramp that you turn left and then lead into another ramp, and then turn left, lead into another ramp. That gives me some trouble sometimes, so I wouldn't be surprised if it also gave new players some trouble. Almost got me there. Nice. Let's see if I can do the thing that the one guy did on this track the other time, where there's that split road, very specific right now. There's a split road that's coming up later in the track where you can go to either side, but apparently it's like a little bit faster if you cross in sort of a weird way. I'll try to point out what I'm talking about as it's coming up. I think it's coming up after this next series of turns here. Yeah, you see that ramp over there? That's what it is. It's coming up. So if you do this... Okay, there, that's what I was talking about. I don't know how well I did it, but that's what you're supposed to do. And that apparently lets you take this turn quite a bit tighter. And that's a lot faster. What else did I do? Okay. I think I would like to at least mention. Maybe I'm not going to spoil too much. I watched Dune Part 2 yesterday. And I liked it. It was a good movie. I would definitely recommend the Dune series, like Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2, the 2021 and 2024 adaptations. And hopefully, I mean, I know it's a book adaptation, so I have no doubt that Dune Part 3 will be good as well. But hopefully it continues and ends off strong. But I have no doubt that Dune Part 3 is going to go where I think it's going to go. And I actually kind of like... that Dune kind of subverted the hero's journey in a very interesting way. In a very big way too. Which you only really, I think, you'll only really see what I'm talking about in Dune Part 2. If you're looking, you can see what I'm talking about in Dune Part 1 as well. But apart from that, I will leave it there. I really like what it did with that. And I think also that the casting is pretty good for that movie. You know? In fact, I think I remember hearing, what was it, the Cold Cuts guys? The guys from the Cold Cuts podcast? Check them out, by the way. They're very cool. Talking about how, like, they didn't quite agree with the casting of Timothy Chalamet, is that his name? Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya for their respective parts. And sort of said that, like, it's possible that it could have been just like, well, who's big in Hollywood right now? Let's get them. And I agree that could have been part of the decision making, but ultimately, I think those were pretty good casting choices. Chalamet especially. I think Timothy Chalamet is great as what's his name? Paul Atreides. I think that was I would have a hard time, having seen those movies and the kind of character that Paul is, I would have actually a hard time finding a better casting choice to sort of portray what Paul does and who he becomes, you know? Zendaya, though, I feel like, because obviously she's a good casting choice, I think. For, like, the female lead, I believe? I don't know. But something about her in that role feels a little bit like, more like, oh, well, let's just get the hot item in Hollywood, like the hot actors in Hollywood right now. And obviously she does an incredible job with the character. You know. It's just like something about it. that feels a little bit, I don't know if I said this already, but like kind of nondescript. Like, you know. In banana spot? That was a very close call with that Koopa. Throw that shit forward. Yeah. I realize at this point I'm just kind of farming and talking about, like, stuff. But that's kind of nice, I guess. Kind of like it. Sure, 4 players, why not? Ah. Shifting it up. Filled out my election ballot this morning. It was for local elections. That's the kind of election where I usually have to do a bit more research for the candidates that I'm voting for. Because in the area where I live, the left-leaning party is basically has pretty monolithic control, which is good compared to the alternative of having a competitive Republican Party, you know? It's part of the reason that this is has some of the highest standards of living in the country, is that Republicans haven't been in power for fucking decades. Um, Purple Red's in first? What? Oh, I guess it was because I hit the box in second. Oh, got him. Okay, here's something I wanted to note about tracks like this. Oh, damn it. With the exception of that, because I hit a banana. I think the Mach Bike is actually mostly better than the Flame Runner, especially on custom tracks. Because think about, what are the circumstances where the Flame Runner would gain time on the Mach Bike? It would be on longer straightaways, right? Because you go slightly faster in a wheelie. But then the circumstances where Mach Bikes are faster than the Flame Runner, you gain time on the turns, that's for sure, because you can drift a lot tighter. Then you also gain time on the short straightaways because you're spending more time in your mini turbo. The Mach Bike has a much longer mini turbo boost than the Flame Runner does. No. Oh, wow. I really got Jake, but I was trying to get that Bowser in first. I've never seen that happen before. Of course, as soon as I talk about the things that make the mock bike gain a ton of time on the Flame Runner, I fail to demonstrate any of that because I hit walls, get hit by items, etc., etc. Uh, but I do genuinely believe that. I don't think the Flame Runner is the best vehicle in the game. I think that the mock bike is, at least for racing with other players, right? In time trials, the Flame Runner is marginally faster, because there's more time spent on straightaways on average, and you get more in uninterrupted wheelies, you get chain wheelies and things like that, and that is where the Flame Runner ekes out a little bit more top speed than the mock bike. But in online, a lot more of your gaining time is not contingent on how long you can maintain your wheelie on a straightaway, but rather on the like how good are your turns, how good is your item usage. It basically, the factors that make the Flame Runner better than the mock bike, aside from weight, are mostly irrelevant online. Um, Even the weight is kind of dicey online because even if you're in a heavy vehicle, you get bumped like hella. So yeah, I gained time, a lot of time right there because I was able to take the turn tighter and because my mini turbo was ever so slightly longer. Nah, fucking asshole. Hmm. I'm gonna throw this now. Ah, barely. Could have thrown it a little bit earlier. Nice banana. Get all those out of here. Oh, nice. Third place is getting a lot of blue shells. Very blue shell heavy race. Nice. That was really smart driving by me, I think. And there, I think I showed the mock bike's strength. You saw it wasn't very often that you could visibly see it because the time games are so subtle, and also because that person probably is taking better lines than me. But even with worse lines, there was one corner where you could really tell that the tighter turning of the mock bike and then the mini turbo boost that you get gains you a lot of time on the flame runner over time, especially because that track had a lot of turns. There was opportunity for me to show that. Anyways, I might be doing like 2 more races ish. Yeah. I've been thinking as well as summer comes up, I might want to stream Mario Kart Wii a little bit less and Melee a little bit more. Super Smash Bros. Melee. Um, because there's Super Smash Con tournament in my area. I want to practice for that. Yeah, you get it. Why do they have to pick this track? I hate this track so much. All right, my objective here is just to not get like massively bumped off and whatever, to have like a consistent race. I'm not gonna learn the shortcuts, and I don't care to because this track is stupid. Right. Or mushroom. Okay, they didn't do that insane shortcut there. Interesting. Oh shit. Okay. They didn't even take the shortcut on that part of things. I think I know where I want to use this. It's not enough to do the big shortcut at the beginning, but it's enough to do the small shortcut. I don't know how you do that part. That part, it's faster to not trick off the first one. If I can hold second here, I will be very happy. I have blue shell protection in the form of the guy in front of me. You know? And I have red shell protection in the form of this course is fucking stupid. But now I don't have either. Well, I technically do have red shell protection, but no blue shell protection. God damn it. I tried to minorly course correct. And it fucked me up. Alright, so that's objective number 1 failed. Kind of. I can still have like a partial recovery if I really pull my shit together here. That's seeming kind of unlikely. What's up, Jake? No. No! Third? That's kind of wacky, if I really got third. Yeah, I got third. Huh. All right. Also, I have been I think I mentioned one time or another that I had watched some of Dungeon Meshi, and I'm currently like I still intend to finish that show, but I'm kind of waiting for the show to finish so I can watch it because I hate having to wait for weekly releases of a TV show or of a show in general. Um, I like to be able to watch it at my own pace, and that tends to be like one episode per day ish. I don't usually binge. That's not usually how I do things. At least not if it's a show that I'm really, really interested in and like interested in memorizing a lot of it, or like not memorizing, but like remembering significant parts of it later. I just hate that they string you along for a whole week. It's like, dog, I feel like it's kind of unnecessary. But obviously, that's because of like certain production schedules and stuff. Um, I don't know. I usually prefer to wait for the whole thing to be done because I think it would like on the other end of things, it's kind of an unreasonable demand, I guess, to say like just wait until the whole thing is done to even air it. I don't think that's very fair to levy for all the animators and the writers, the actors, and whoever else is involved with the show, right? It's kind of unfair. Dude, I'm so sorry. If it's any consolation, it's only lap 2, and I did it for the content, Your Honor. I'm gonna chain this. What's up? Blue shell. Huh. I'm just gonna try to hold these mushrooms. Okay, that's good. That was very close to hitting me. Shoutouts to whoever threw that bomb. That was a good final race, I think. I'm happy with how I drove. Let's quit out. This stream was a little bit earlier than other streams of mine. I'm not sure if the glasses were the play. I think I would I don't know, I might rather just not have the glasses on stream in the future. Uh one of the side effects of me not wearing glasses and then wearing them is that my head starts to hurt. I don't usually like that. So if I don't absolutely need my glasses, I don't think I'm gonna wear them. Uh Probably take them off after stream. But thank you for tuning in. Uh Seems like there wasn't too much politically speaking to talk about. Um Maybe, you know what? I'll write something down for next time. I want to talk about the candidates that were present on the ballot that I filled out. There. Next time, I will talk about local politics and the kind of policies that are relevant here. Because believe it or not, it is relevant to the broader like body politic and stuff. But for right now, I'm gonna find somebody to raid. Hopefully, I'll have more stuff to talk about next time. Because I mean, You know, when there's an ongoing genocide, it kind of dominates the political discourse, but, you know. It is what it is. Let's see. Joey playing Crab Souls. Well, it's not Melee, it's not Mario Kart, so it's not the kind of game that I'd really be interested in. Let's check out Lumiru. What is the title of this stream? Bulking for muscle growth dead? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And then in parentheses it says, oh no. Sounds like a banger. Raid Lumiru. Alright. Have fun with Lumiru, one of my favorite lefty commentators in the live streaming world. Does a lot of theory related stuff. So have fun. Is bulking dead? Question mark. Find out, I guess.